Well, God, I'm here again. Here again. I don't even know what to say at this point. I mean, at least I have a better base to go off this time, but oh my god. The exhaust saga is still not over if you saw my Instagram. Um, I was gonna tackle it again, which I tried today, but I actually can't salvage that muffler. And honestly, I don't really want to salvage that pipe or anything like that anymore. I just want to use my H pipe, get some new mufflers, do it that way. Which I'll just put them on my credit card, put all the exhaust on my credit card, do it that way. Whatever. That way I can afford this. Just I hate exhaust so much. I'm never doing this again. Never ever. I'm just gonna farm out exhaust next time. It's bad. It really is bad. And yeah, it's not fun. But oh well, it is what it is. And it's fine. Like tomorrow, I'm just gonna go buy all the pieces that I need to put the H pipe in. Have dual exhaust on my car. It's gonna sound way better. And at the moment, it won't have the best performance out of that, but it's fine. I don't care because it's gonna look better. It's gonna sound better, and also it'll prepare me for when I actually build up the engine. So for everybody that says, "Oh, dual exhaust on an inline six," yeah, heck, you could get dual exhaust on actually Opel Cadets back in the day, which were 4 cylinders back in the 60s and 70s. So consider that, right? And that was a much smaller engine than what I have. And I'm gonna be making a decent amount of power when I'm done, but I don't know how much I'll actually make, but we'll find out when I'm done. Cam, exhaust, turbo, carburetor, which the carburetor adapter is coming. So that's some good news. Got sent out today. I have the tracking number. I am just waiting for it to get here at this point. So it'll just be, checking the tracking and seeing when it gets here. Because as soon as I have that, oh, I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy. Because, yeah, then I can put the 2 barrel on and be a much happier camper. So, yeah, have better performance, better fuel economy. The vehicle will run better. It'll start easier. What's not to love about it? And if I stick with that carburetor, we'll see. I mean, in the future, I might go to a different carburetor. Might just pick a 2 barrel off of a SVO Mustang or something like that, and do that instead. And who knows? Maybe in the future, if I get enough money, maybe I'll go to like a Holly Sniper EFI, right? And talk to the people at Holly and just make sure that, hey, is this going to be good for my setup and everything like that? And talk to professionals that know this stuff and go from there. So that's the dream, anyways, to have a Sniper EFI. But for now, I'm working with what I got. So yeah, like today kind of sucked because I spent so much time and got really nowhere. So, and when that happens, don't be discouraged. Like, I mean, I'm annoyed, but it's not like a, hey, I'm giving up, because I'm not. I'm giving up on that exhaust, but gonna build a new one, right? It's gonna be better. Gonna use exhaust clamps. It'll be Gucci. And I'll have to see in Olds where I can pick up some exhaust pieces, because what I'm gonna need. It's gonna be a weird setup because my inline six, of course, is single exhaust right now. And so what I want to do, and I'll probably have to grind down the welds off of the stock pipe, which is totally fine. I am totally cool with doing that. Grind that absolutely smooth, and that's easier than trying to grind what I was grinding. So do that, and then yeah, get exhaust clamps and just put it together with exhaust clamps because I'm tired of trying to weld it. I bought a torch today, and I'll use the torch in the future. I was using it a little bit today because I was testing some of the welds and stuff like that and saying, okay, how bad actually are these? And they were sticking because I heated it up a lot and then I smacked it with the hammer. They didn't break, but for some reason, just majority of the weld broke, but just some areas actually stuck really well. So, but if you look, actually, I did a YouTube short here on YouTube, obviously, to the reason why I'm just abandoning the exhaust that I'm currently running or trying to run anyways. So, yeah. It's a fun time. And anyways, who's all watching this? Because I mean, I know it's showing me 2, like between 2 and 1, and we had 3 and 4, but nobody's chatting. So I'm just seeing, what's up, who's around, and yeah. If not, no worries. If you just want to listen, I totally understand that. It's just easier to do this when people are chatting. That's all. So, yeah. Yeah. But that's basically what's going on right now with me and the car. And like I said, I'm not totally defeated yet. I'm gonna move on and do it another way. I love my health. And if you're wondering, no, it's not COVID or anything like that. That's just my asthma and whatever else combined with that. And actually, I think I choked a little bit on the last chip. But, oddly enough, the other day, I posted, actually, on my TikTok, is torquing the last wheel together. And, well, it actually worked out pretty good. That video has the most views out of any video on my channel. And it's got approaching the most likes. It's still the Civic starting video. And actually, I want to do that. There we go. I don't care about that. There we go. Sorry, I was just muting my phone while I'm doing this, just so that we don't get disrupted. Now we might get disrupted if I get a phone call, but like I won't have any copyright issues if the phone rings. So always remember to mute your phone before you do this, or put your phone on airplane mode. And just run off your Wi-Fi. That way, it's not gonna do that to you, right? But yeah. Oh, hey, Jason. I mean, internet's been okay. I haven't had really much issues, to be honest. Like my internet's always not amazing, but it's never like super great either. Hey, Zach, no worries. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And actually, hang on, let me switch this to live chat. There we go. No worries. And I mean, I'm doing okay. As you saw from the thumbnail and stuff like that, I'm just annoyed because, well, I have to start again from scratch on my exhaust. It's just not worth doing what I'm doing right now. And I'm just gonna go with that H pipe, which you guys have seen in other videos. I think I showed that. Actually, it's been in a couple of my lives, just in the background, right? So, yeah, and actually, I showed it on camera properly on my YouTube short video that I just did. And you'll actually see there as to why I can't utilize that exhaust anymore. And it's just annoying. But that's okay. I'll use that H pipe. I'll get some more exhaust. No, Jason, I've been doing it myself. And yes, Zach, we were measuring it by chicken nuggets. Basically, because this H pipe, like, I have been welding it myself. I've welded it back together 3 or 4 times now, and I'm just not doing it anymore. I'm going to get exhaust pieces tomorrow, and I am just going to get exhaust clamps and clamp everything together, get 2 new mufflers, clamp those onto, and just do it that way. Yeah, absolutely. Because why not? Why not? It'll sound better, and plus you get dual exhaust out of it. Like yes, in its current configuration, um, will it not be efficient? Yes, absolutely. A 2.5 inch dual exhaust going out the back doesn't make sense, but it'll make sense for when I'm actually done building the car with the turbo, the cam, the new carb on it, everything like that. Then it'll actually come into its own without exhaust. So you know, it'll plus it'll just sound better too. Because like when you're doing dual exhaust, on any 6 cylinder, if you do an X pipe, it just doesn't sound right. It never does. Like they have more of that raspy tone onto an X pipe compared to a H pipe that has a more baritone noise, and that's what I'm going for. And that motor sounds fantastic. Um, when you just let it loose, because you listen to it right now with the exhaust, no exhaust on it whatsoever, other than a manifold. The thing actually sounds badass. It's just way too loud to drive. Because believe me, I have, and it's not been good. Ooh, now we're getting a bunch of people in here. Hello, people of YouTube. But yeah, so that's basically just where I'm at. But today, if you guys saw my Instagram, from a couple days ago, actually from last week technically, I bought a carburetor adapter for the car. So my Autolite 2100 will bolt to this. I bought it off a guy actually in BC. And he shipped it out to me today. So well, see, actually, okay. Between an X pipe and an H pipe, like granted, X pipes can sound better, but they typically don't as much. And I know what you're saying that way. Um, because X pipes, they'll give you more horsepower. H pipes give you more torque, right? That's the difference between the two. Um, and H pipe is like old school, right? Where you wanted to produce more torque. While X pipes are more new school, where you want to produce more horsepower, right? It's just very dependent on what you want and a different sound too. Because, like I said, X pipes tend to have that sort of raspy sound out the back, regardless of what muffler you have on. Not all the time, but most of the time. And hey, what dog? How's it going? Ah, well, I mean, I just know that from actually researching exhaust and stuff like that, to be honest. And that's what they'll tell you is, H pipes give you torque, X pipe is horsepower. That's good to hear. As you can tell, we're talking about exhaust, and well, my exhaust is kaput. Not going to be utilizing that one anymore. I've gone too far with it, and we're just scrapping it. So that's going to go bye-bye. And I'm going to go to a dual exhaust H pipe. Because, you know what? Inline 6 dual exhaust H pipe with turbo or thrush turbos on it. It'll sound good. And it'll be built good enough for when I turbo the car. So, is there a cat on that car? No. There is not. I cut it out. The whole purpose of me doing this exhaust actually was because it still had all the factory exhaust in it. And it was very leaky. It was terrible. It still had the kind of like converter in it. So I just said, screw it. Chop it all off, start anew, right? And I didn't build out the full exhaust from that pipe, to be honest. I just used, because I had some exhaust pieces lying around. They were 2.25. They were off of another car that I had here. So I was just like, you know what? These will work just fine. And they did, but if my welds had stuck, it would have been better. But I just don't have proper temperature control on my welder, and that's why they didn't stick. I bought a torch today, but well, that was a waste of money at the moment. I mean, it'll be utilized in the future, but for now, it's just kind of one of those annoying things. But oh, no worries. I have a torch now, so that's fine. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. And waiting for my carburetor adapter to come in, which should be, I don't know, I'm assuming the next week or so. Because it's only coming from BC, so. Hey, old school, how's it hanging? Thanks for coming out to the live stream. Going to be out the back, actually. As much as I kind of wanted to dump it out the sides, it's gonna be run out the back. It's just not gonna be able to utilize like dumping it out the sides like I wanted. So, that's fine. And you're watching 2 live streams at once. Well, good luck, I guess. I mean, it's fine. Like, if you want to watch the other one, it's totally cool. I don't have a lot of viewers in here right now, as you can see. So if I can handle the chat, no worries there. But if you want to stick around and support me, that's cool too. Okay, TikTok, I don't care. Okay, no worries. Old school. Chat you later. Well, I mean, I don't mind the whole Mad Max thing at all. Like, that style, I don't mind it. But we're just going to do it out of the back because the mufflers I'm going to get are Thrush Turbo mufflers. Which, if you guys know, it's your standard chambered muffler. They're cheaper, but it'll work, and they sound decent. So, that's yeah. No, we're not gonna do that because I'm gonna be turboing the car. So why would you put a fake blower on it? I know you're talking about the Mad Max car with fake blower. Well, Jason, if you look at some of the Mad Max vehicles nowadays, they are so much more than my car. Like, you look at my car and it's got sort of that vibe to it, but it's nowhere near that. Like, my buddy's Mustang actually has a lot more of that vibe. Like for example, like his, it's super cool because he has a 73 fastback. Over the back window, he's actually got a metal grate essentially to cover the back window. The front grille is again another metal grate. He's got a roof rack on it. He's got 31-inch studded tires on it too, and it's mostly just Bondo, and he painted it up like a army vehicle. Dark green and everything, and with a star. And okay, really, you're gonna being photobombed by my cat? Eh? No, I don't, to be honest. But it was an online auction anyway, so. Yay! Our brains sometimes don't work some days, and it's totally fine. I mean, I'm just tired. It's been a long day. A lot of grinding today. A lot of grinding. I spent about 2 hours grinding and really didn't get anywhere. Eh? Spent 2 hours grinding and really didn't get anywhere. Oh, big fat cat. Big fat cat. Smart ass, you know what I meant. Yes. I'm working with exhaust. What other grinding am I gonna do? I was writing down welds, to be honest. That's what I was doing for like 2 hours today. Totally wasted my time because This is Saber. Rascal is elsewhere. I mean, if he wanted love, he'd be here right now. He just Rascal is doing his own thing, probably sleeping in the bathroom or in my room or yeah. This is Saber. Me, a big fat cat. Big fat cat. Why? Most people can't, so it's totally fine. Even one of my best friends who I've known for 6 years still can't figure it out. Hey Tim, actually I know about them a little bit, anyways. The fact that with the Bara inline six and stuff like that, those things were freaking killer. I would love a Bara in my car, but I can't really afford to drop one in, and more or less trying to find one in Canada too. Good luck. You'd have to import it from Australia, and it'd probably cost you in the end around 3 or 4 grand. So, no, actually, we named him Saber a very long time ago. Bear in mind, he's 20 years old. We got him 19 years ago, so he was 1 year old at the time, and he was called or we called him Saber because he kind of looked like a saber-tooth tiger when we got him. So, very cool. Um, yeah, like I love honestly, I love what the Australians do with their cars. Because like over here in Canada and the States, we just have a V8 and everything and call it good. But over there, you guys experimented with the six cylinders so much. Like the fact that like if you look at Chrysler, you can actually get, from what I've heard, anyways, um, like there was a Hemi head actually for a Chrysler Slant Six, which is super cool to think about. And also, people would put a triple carb setup on them too. So essentially, you had a Hemi six pack. It was kind of cool actually, but um, with a Slant Six, and yeah, you guys have pioneered building inline sixes forever. Like there's been a couple of inline sixes that have been built like in modern day. Well, I shouldn't say even say modern day. It was a while ago, but yeah. Well, actually, depending on from what I've heard, anyways, with the Aussies, they do have V8s as well, but they mostly stick with the sixes. But also like there was a racing series over there because my mechanic told me about this. Uh, yeah. See, and then like the concept of a electric car sounds great and everything like that, but when you actually see it in practice, they're really not that great, and they're not good for the environment, contrary to what they will tell you. So it is sad that way, right? Like I would like to experience an electric car. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. See, there you go. Like, and those Holdens would have had the modern Holdens, anyways. They had just LSs in them, right? Um, the LS1, LS2, stuff like that. If you look at the last generation Pontiac GTO, that was a Holden Monaro VXR, I believe. So I haven't been in one either. I'd like to experience one, but it's not like I want one. It'd just be kind of cool to experience the just the instant acceleration that they have and the power and stuff like that. It'd be kind of fun, but other than that, no. I couldn't actually use an electric car where I am. I live in the middle of nowhere. Like, I mean, I say middle of nowhere, but there's about 3,000 people here. However, it's we don't have any fast charging stations or anything like that, and it just would totally defeat the purpose of getting one out here. And it's just yeah, like electric cars work in like an urban setting, but then there's a whole issue with power grids and stuff like that. Um, yeah, oh yeah, they do because like the thing is with electric cars, and people don't realize this when they try and race one. Where your like in a gasoline vehicle, your peak torque is you know, let's just say it's like 3,400 RPM. That's your peak torque, right? The peak torque in an electric car is 1 RPM. So, it's got that instant torque, like immediately. And that's why they just go so good. Um, and they don't have to worry about like a regular transmission, for example. They have one gear, right? Like, and yeah, it's kind of cool that way. Now, some electric cars, like when you adapt electric motors into cars, yes, they do have a transmission because they utilize the stock transmission in the car. But, um, yeah, the Leyland P76. See, now when I think of when I hear Leyland, I think British Leyland, but is that the same thing? Or is that something different? And if so, I know what that V8 is. But, um, oh, mind you, you spelt that differently than what British Leyland is, so it's probably a different company, I'm assuming. Um, kind of the same thing, kind of not. Okay, that's fair. I mean, when you bring stuff over from other countries, it's always going to be different, though, right? Like, even if you look at Canadian spec and American spec vehicles, they are um different. And I sold that thing for, I think it was $1,000. Oddly enough, it's back for sale again. I'm not sure why he's decided to sell it, which I am kind of sad to hear that he's selling it, but oh well, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, I saw it for sale on Marketplace, which it's that's fine. Like the thing is, I understand though. There's been a few vehicles that I have sold and then I've seen be relisted a month or two later, and it's totally fine. Like it upsets me more when somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to build this car," and then immediately afterwards, like the next day, you see it listed and just like you just lied to me. With him, he wasn't lying. He may have just decided to sell it because it was just too much of a project, which is totally understandable. It did need a lot of work, right? Like there was a hole in the block of the motor. It needed some rust repair. The rear frame rail was gone on the one side. Like your hands would physically go through it. So yes, actually, the Meteor brand was kind of an offshoot of Mercury's at the time, and it didn't last very long. Um, you know, there were a few um vehicles actually here in Canada that were essentially just rebadged or slightly different versions of American cars. Pontiac was the most famous for this because Pontiac had a bunch of different models. They had the Parisienne, the Catalina, I believe. Um, they had the Acadian and the Beaumont, right? So four different vehicles that were essentially rebadged and actually re-engineered Chevrolets. Laurentian, that was the one. Sorry, not Catalina. It was the Laurentian. You are correct. But then also, if you go back far enough, you will find the actually Pontiac Pathfinder back in the 50s was also a Canadian only variant, which they actually used. We did have Fireflies, yes. I thought maybe they may have had Fireflies in the States, but I could be wrong on that. Actually, yeah, no, that's right. The Firefly was a Canadian only model, which is basically it's a Geo Metro. It's what it is, and you know, but there was a lot of GM rebadging of stuff, especially like and Ford actually had kind of a special car in 1960. Um, you guys probably never heard of it. Who knows? Maybe the Aussie guy has. Um, that the that was a Pontiac The Canso, yes. The That was the Acadian Canso, which was essentially like the high end version of an Acadian, but then the SD was the one you wanted because that was the performance oriented version of those. And the thing is, though, the one I'm talking about in 1960, it was from Ford, and it was called the Frontenac, which was essentially a rebadged and slightly updated version of a um, Ford Falcon at the time. They're very rare to find nowadays. They were 1 year only, 1960, and they were kind of cool actually. Although when you see like the patriotic cars from the states, essentially the same thing, but think about it in like a factory sense, right? There was maple leaves all over this car. It was actually kind of terrible, but they're kind of cool though. I've only seen one in person. See now, Jason, I almost um that's fair. And actually, I was gonna say, the Firefly, I almost bought one. And it was a convertible, but the only reason why I wanted it is for two reasons. One, this Firefly convertible was the turbo 5-speed model, right? So they can actually burn the rubber pretty good, and they were actually decently quick. Um, and at the same time, this thing was riced out completely, so it would have been a really fun joke to have for a car, right? I didn't end up buying it, and it was totally fine. But it was just kind of funny. Yeah, it honestly, my dad has driven one. They're only like 110 horsepower or something like that, but in a car that only weighs like 1,700 pounds, they go pretty good. Actually, they might even be lighter than that. But it's just one of those deals. Um, yeah, and because thinking about the Aussie stuff, like the Aussies got all the really cool stuff. All the because to me, anyways, the weird and different cars that they had was really cool. And we're just talking about variants of cars, and then there was an Australian guy in here talking about Ford Falcons and stuff like that. So we were talking about that too, and yeah, like the variants of like different countries, so like Canada. Um, I don't see very many. I don't have any myself. The only thing that I have, and it's kind of cool, it's from about 1954. It's this. I'm actually looking at it right now. I can't go reach it, but oh, cool, very cool. Actually, I like those Mercs. Um, because like, and actually, the only thing I have is a Mopar tin. It's a polishing cloth for your car or for wood or whatever. Uh, that would mean having to get up. And I'm comfy, and I have a sleeping cat on my lap. It's all the way over there. Although, actually, hang on. I might be able to do it this way. Let's see if I can do this. There you go. It's right there. The cloth is still inside of it, too. And yes, my room or this area is a mess right now still. I really need to clean it, but I'm busy working on my exhaust. It's the only one I've seen, and I mean, I picked it up for $10. I was just like, hey, why not? I was still in school at the time. There was a kid selling it, and I was just like, sure, why not? I'll buy it off you. This was back in high school. Actually, I was I at CCH or Vic Park at the time? I can't remember. Ah! Making sure his message didn't go away before I read it. Um. uh, well, I mean, I don't have any experience with the Mercs, but I do kind of like them. At least the older ones, like the ones you're talking about, because the modern Mercs, they're just not really reliable, right? They fall apart really easy, and they constantly need fixing. It's similar to modern BMWs actually. That kind of started with the E46 and continued on from there. Um, yeah, it is sad. And modern cars are designed to break too. Compared to old cars that really weren't. Like you could take my car and honestly, you could put the thing through the ringer and it would still keep going, right? All the parts they will eventually wear out, but they don't wear out at the same time. Like for example, my car, okay, I had to change the tie rods on the one end, but the tie rods on the other end were fine, right? Modern cars, they don't do that. The tie rods will go at the same time. Ball joints, again, same idea. Where my car, the one ball joint had to be changed 2 years ago. It was this year where the other ball joint got changed out. So that too, right? Um, and yeah, like the only things that I have on the car right now that need to be fixed, there are two. Well, including the exhaust, three things. So the exhaust needs to be repaired, which I will get to that tomorrow, hopefully, and get it all done. And it'll sound good, and hopefully I can get it together the way I wanted it to. I want it to happen. Um, Two is I need to change out the window seals in my car, which I'm probably just gonna farm out because I don't want to take apart the door. Just annoying. And then the third thing is figure out which pulley is the one that's freaking squealing, and replace that damn pulley. Because that pulley drives me nuts when it gets cold. Because when it gets cold, it goes and it won't shut up. It's just god. And no matter how much you spray it, it'll still keep squealing. And it's not the belt; it's the pulley itself. I just don't know which one it is. So I can deduce that it's probably either the fan or the crank pulley. But I don't know which one. So if it's the crank pulley, that's really, really annoying. If it's the fan pulley, that's not too bad. But finding a brand new fan pulley, I don't know if I can. And I mean, I would like to go to an electric fan, but I can't really afford that right now. So can't really afford anything I'm doing right now, but I'm doing it because I need to. It's a struggle, but that's okay. Which oddly enough, I'd be fine exhaust wise if I didn't decide to cut out the exhaust. But it really needed to be done, to be honest. Like it was really rusty and clogged up and stuff like that. Like the catalytic converter, honestly, because we don't have emissions testing here, so lop that thing out and sell it, right? And that's what I'm gonna do. It's already been chopped out, and tomorrow I'm going to go to Olds and sell it. Then I'm going to use some of that money to go buy stuff, exhaust parts, and see if I can get the exhaust parts that I need. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully, find what I need. Because I'll bring the H pipe with me, and yeah, and I'll just bring my dad's car out to Olds. Compensate him for the gas and stuff. But yeah, because I'm not driving my car open header right now. It might, if I don't get the car fixed, it'll go open header to the car meet. But oh well. Ugh, God. I've got freaking TikTok songs stuck in my head because I've been scrolling through TikTok a lot lately and driving me nuts up there. But that's fine. It's totally fine. Because yeah, and if you guys don't know, I am on TikTok. If any of you are on there as well, you can follow me at Katarina's.garage. Um, and I post stuff that there are similar but different content than here on YouTube. Um, because of course everything is short, like. And but the cool thing about that is that I can put music in there where I can't really do that on YouTube unless it's like non-copyrighted music, which I have access to non-copyrighted music, but you know, It's just one of those deals, right? It's totally Gucci. Uh, but yeah, it's just one of those deals. I am, and of course I'm waiting for my carburetor adapter, which I can't wait for that to come in. Should be here in the next week or so, I would expect. But depending on Canada Post, that might take it forever. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, be very exciting, very very exciting. Because again, performance, economy, car running better, and starting easier. What's not to love? Yeah, although I don't know if I'll be able to utilize my stock air box. We'll see. Because if I have to buy an air filter thing, I have to buy an air filter thing. Whatever, I don't care. I'll just plug vacuum lines and go from there. But yeah. But I mean, honestly, because what I'm probably gonna end up doing, and I'll contact Roy about it, because he's already said, yeah, it's totally cool. Because my buddy Roy up in Edmonton, he has said, yeah, he'd help me out with the carburetor, which is cool. And just, I've never done a carburetor swap, and especially like with vacuum lines and stuff, I don't know which ones I need and which ones I can delete. He'll know this a little better, so I'll travel up to Edmonton at some point and hang out with him for a day again, and yeah, do that and be peachy, very peachy. Because it was really fun last time, to be honest, going up to his place. Um, yeah. Ooh, we're getting all the people now. We're up to 9 now. Wow. Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's been a fun time and been a day. Battling that exhaust because on Sunday I went to Thanksgiving in Calgary, which for any of the Americans in the chat wondering, wait, Thanksgiving? Yeah, we have our Thanksgiving in October. You guys have yours in November, which honestly makes more sense to have it in November than it does in October. But regardless, went to Thanksgiving, but I realized that the exhaust was about to fall off on my car. Just like, I probably shouldn't take this to Calgary. So I took my dad's car. He took my car. Well, the exhaust fell off on him, which again, I was not surprised about to hear that when it happened. And I found it, thankfully, because he didn't know where it dropped off. So luckily it was just in front of the house, no big deal. But yeah, so fun times. And then driving, because I dropped his car off at his work, and then I picked up my car from there, and yeah, driving that loud thing back home with no exhaust on it. It's a 6-cylinder, but it's still super loud without any exhaust on it. And it's it's so loud that I can't really drive it on the highway. It's just bad. At idle, sounds cool. It's great, but you even have to get on it a little bit even to get up to speed. Oh god, it's super loud and obnoxious. So yeah. I'm sure my neighbors aren't pleased with me because of that, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm going with, I should really review this. While I'm waiting for people to type in the chat. But yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about right now, because, yeah, and nobody's helping me out in the chat. But I totally understand there's going to be people here that just want to listen, and that's totally cool, too. Because I'll never ever say, hey, you need to talk. No, you don't have to. But it makes it easier on me because it gives something to talk about and talk to people and whatever else. Because I'm trying to think. And if there's anything coming up, I don't think so. Right now, actually, I will say though, for those of you wondering what's going on with the whole Cosworth Vega thing, because as you guys, some of you might have heard a while ago, that I was able to actually do a video on and drive a 1976 Cosworth Vega. Very cool car, honestly. I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun, and the most fun I've ever had driving a car. Period. Because there's something about driving a small car that's a stick and just bang shifting it, especially a classic too. Um, okay, good. I didn't get any on there. Just itching my nose. There we go. That's better. Now just wait for that to dry. And yeah, so unfortunately that's a little bit on hold right now because the guy is working like 7 days a week at the moment. So just gonna have to wait for Paul to not be busy again, and then we can do that, get some videos on that, which will be really awesome for my channel. And then once we get that going a little bit, tow the Civic out there and start working on that too. So yeah, because Civic hasn't been touched in a while. The last thing I did on the Civic was put the back seat back in and reconnect that fuel line. Other than that, haven't touched it since. So it's sad. It really is sad. I should really try wiring that fuel pump. But I just don't know 100% what I'm doing with an electric fuel pump that didn't have one before. I have a relay, but there's 5 pigtails off the damn thing, and I wish it was just a 2 pigtail relay, so 1 in, 1 out, but it's not. So I'll just have to figure out what wires I want to use, and then I'm going to actually, so that it's not on like a switch or anything like that, I actually want to put this fuel pump on the positive side of the coil, so every time you start the car, it's going to be running, right? So you don't have to pump up the gas, which is quite nice. That thing still is carbureted, and no plans to convert it to fuel injection, no plans to swap the motor out or anything like that, because the motor runs healthy, actually. But yeah. It's one of those things. Fun times. And oh, I screwed up on that nail. But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about right now. Guys, gonna help me. Somebody say something. Is everybody actually here? Like, I mean, it shows 6, but just not sure. Had a bunch of people talking before, and now it's just dead. Which, I get people get busy and whatnot, but... Oh, the chat is not working. Okay. Weird. Okay, yeah, so Old School just messaged me on Instagram to say the chat is not working. Wonder what's going on there. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing that. Actually, he just told me to refresh it, which, yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'll end this live stream and then pull up another one for you guys. So, yeah, because apparently the chat's not working. So, yeah, just give me a second here and just rejoin my live once I redo this next one.